Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we have a really awesome figure to take a look at today. Although we have actually reviewed the Sculpt prior, this is a different paint variant, and it's one that I've been eagerly awaiting for quite some time. As you can see, it is the Obsidian Tyrant for the Nanmu male Jurassic Park style Tyrannosaurus Rex. We have both the Rex and the base here to take a look at. Both have their own individual boxes and artwork to them. You can see the box for the base is just basically, of course, like that very cool black and white style image for the base, and then same deal here for the Rex. I don't really think there's too much going on difference between this or the previous releases as far as box art goes, but it definitely looks cool. I love the Nanmu boxes, always look really nice, and they get me so psyched for the fact that, again, anytime I get a new Nanmu figure, the box art just instantly gets me hyped up for the reveal of a new figure. And although we have again reviewed the Sculpt in the past, I am really psyched to see this paint variant here. It took a lot longer to get here than I expected it to, but the fact that it is here is really exciting. So let's go ahead, pop this open, and take a look at it. So just like with each of the releases so far, we get our Hannah Dundee figure, which again is really cool on the part of Nanmu to create a Hannah Dundee figure. I would love to see them actually create like maybe some Cadillacs and dinosaurs or Dino Riders, stylized versions of dinosaurs at some point. I don't think that'll happen, but it'd definitely be something fun that they could maybe dive into after they've exhausted the Jurassic line, because it seems as though we're probably going to get every dinosaur from the Jurassic series, ever, and I would love that, because that would probably mean that Nanmu would give us the best versions of each dinosaur that has ever appeared in the Jurassic series. But eventually they're going to run out of Jurassic dinosaurs, and maybe we'll get something like that. But I'm also kind of hoping that we'll just start to get maybe some other dinosaurs, like maybe some more accurate versions of dinosaurs and stuff. They have created some really cool stuff prior to creating Jurassic World figures, so I would love to see them create more like that as well. So we also have the art card, which is something, again, that you usually get when it comes to a Nanmu release, and you can see the beautiful image there of the more Lost World Jurassic Park style version of the T-Rex. They're walking along the ledge. You can also see that we've got some danger coming in there from the skies. And then on the back, I love these hand-drawn sides of the cards. We have seen this now twice, actually, because we reviewed this figure. This will be the third review for the figure, because there's been 3 different variants, and each one had shown up at different times. But again, I love the back of the art cards. I always love these hand-drawn style images. And then we have our base. And at this point now, there's only one that I got that did not have the base, and that was the brownish version. So I have the Lost World Jurassic Park style version with the base. Now I have the Obsidian version with the base. Kind of feel like maybe I should just search out the base for the other one just to complete the set, but my intentions weren't to buy all of the bases. It just kind of ended up happening this way. But I will say that I actually think I like this base better than any of the others that I've seen. I really like this kind of like lava-like look for the base, like this molten rock type look. And it looks super cool. Nanmu has done a fantastic job, of course, on the Sculpt, but the paintwork of this one specifically, again, is very appealing to the eye. Definitely a fan of the way that one looks. And then, of course, the star of the show is our T-Rex. And look at that beauty right there. Man, Nanmu just blows my mind continuously with every model they release. That is just an unbelievable looking Tyrannosaurus Rex. Again, this is the Obsidian variant, and in my opinion, it has a very strong likeness to the Walking with Dinosaurs Tyrannosaurus, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons I was so drawn to it. Initially, this was, of course, the second most exciting one for me, because the Lost World Jurassic Park one specifically is the most exciting, but this one here, when I had seen them unveil this, I was thinking, wow, I need to have that one in my collection. Even if I missed out on the brown one and only got the Lost World one and this one, I would have been happy. Although I'm much happier knowing that I have all 3 different variants, because honestly, every single one of them, they're all must-haves. There's not one that I could say that, I'd be okay with missing that one. No, they're all incredible, and now having this one here before me officially seals the deal as far as these Tyrannosaurs go. Every single way you could possibly go when buying one of these is a win, because this thing looks incredible. And to show you that, let's go ahead and jump straight to a closer look right now. So since we have already reviewed this figure 3 times, well, 2 times prior, but this will be the 3rd time, We don't need to take a look at the sculpt. We know the sculpt is fantastic. If you would like to see a more detailed review of the actual sculpt, make sure you check out the initial review of this Tyrannosaurus. If you check out the playlists of this channel, there is an entire section dedicated to Nanmu specifically, and that is where you will find the review of the original version of this Rex, as well as plenty of other Nanmu models that we have reviewed. In fact, every one of the Nanmu models that they've released since the Indominus, the Berserker Rex, was released, we've reviewed every single one. But as far as the coloration goes of this one, again, like I had stated earlier, I think it has a very Walking with Dinosaurs type of a look, obviously, sporting many similar tones, and you can see that as far as the tones go here on the face, we have a lot of really dark grays, so dark that they're probably bordering on a black, but they are definitely a very, very dark gray, almost like a pavement gray. And you can see that how some of them kind of like streak down into the palate. Also, some come up here from the lower part of the snout, and you can definitely see the very similar appearance to kind of a Jurassic Park style Rex with the stripes that lead down, and that's something that we've seen pretty much through every single one of these Tyrannosaurs. So I like how they've given them their individual paint applications differing from the Lost World Jurassic Park style, but all keeping them somewhat similar, so they kind of look like they could be potentially a group. Very cool idea on the part of Nanmu. But you can also see some really nice variations of browns in the palette, and there's also been kind of like a dry brushing of a different variation, almost like an orangish brown in certain spots there in the palette, which looks really cool. You can also see like some light khakis and stuff here in between those darker gray stripes on the jawline there, and you can also see that they've given this some really nice dry brushing with maybe like a lighter gray to make some of the scale detail here in the face pop beautifully. I really, really like that. That's one thing that I've picked up on when it came to other people's images and stuff of this Rex. Every time I had seen images of it, I really took notice to that kind of dry brushing they've given it right there. Really makes that detail pop beautifully. You can also see that up here on the top, they've also kind of highlighted some stripes here with a lighter gray in that area. And then as you lead up here, right above the palette, you start to see this very big kind of cluster of like osteoderms or scutes that have been really nicely dry brushed or painted with like a light brown, and they seem to have been given a wash. The wash has climbed in and out of every one of those and made them pop really nicely. The eye is also just incredible, and again, I think on top of having probably the most realistic inside of a mouth on a model, the Nanmu line also has the best eyes from any brand out there. Look at how realistic and lifelike those eyes look. I'm pretty certain they're probably applied with a decal, and they are just incredible continuously. Again, they just look genuinely alive. They're so good. And they have a very nice gloss coat over them so that they shine very realistically, which is always a huge plus. Of course, the jaw is articulated, so ow, that actually stabbed my finger right there because the teeth are sharp. Like, these are definitely very high quality models, but the mouth does articulate, and you can see that as far as the coloration inside, we have a very nice variation of pink and then kind of like some reds, I would say, like a dark kind of a red that's been applied in a wash type fashion so that it really highlights the detail there. Like you can see it on the side of the skin flap there. You can also see it here on the tongue, really showing off how incredible the texturing to the tongue truly is. Like, that is just unbelievably realistic looking in there. And the teeth, of course, have that beautiful, almost translucent type of a look, all of which has been glossed to perfection here inside the mouth, but those teeth really look alive, and I like that they add kind of like some variations of browns and stuff to them to kind of give them like that almost slightly dirty appearance. Like, you wouldn't see perfect pearly whites on a dinosaur like this. You would definitely see like some color variation and things like that, and they've applied that perfectly, as they always do, to the teeth of this Rex. And all of the paintwork, again, everywhere you look, is so precise. Look at how insane the detailing is inside the mouth there, and how beautiful that paintwork is. Again, just looking as lifelike as it honestly gets. As you lead down into the lower jaw, you also have some of that very dark gray right here. They've dry brushed it over beautifully though, so you can see kind of like a khaki-ish type of a color in between a lot of the scales. And then as you move down here, you also see another area of like a lighter brown pick up. But then as we start to move back into the neck region, again, we have a very nice mixture of this dark gray that stripes down along the course of the dinosaur, and also this beautiful brown. And it seems like there's actually like two different shades potentially of brown in that area. There's kind of like the orangish brown and also a light brown. But then as you move down into the throat, you can see that it has a really nice reddish coloration. Again, very reminiscent to a Walking with Dinosaurs style Tyrannosaurus. And the transition between those colors is incredibly smooth as always. Nanmu is incredible at pretty much everything they do, but one thing that always impresses me about the Nanmu models is just how smooth the transitions between colors always are, and just how realistic the paint applications always look. Like, this genuinely looks like the body color of this animal, and in no way looks like paint on a model. Nanmu easily has the best paint apps of any company that I can think of. And then as you move down here into the arm, you can see the arm primarily is that dark gray. You also have a mixture of that brown. In the stomach region here, we have like two different shades of brown. You can see like a lighter brown creeping through in certain areas, and then same deal up here. When you move up toward the back, you can kind of see like some of the brown breaking through the dark gray as well. Really nice paintwork. Again, same deal back here in the leg. Like, you can see how it runs down here. It's the dark gray, and then we have the different variations of browns back there. Also, some nice dry brushing has been applied, again, to make the detail pop beautifully. And there appears to be potentially like two different variations of grays as well up here in the darker gray areas. Like, I can definitely see some slight shading and alternate coloration here and there on it, with like a slightly different, maybe a slightly darker shade of gray, I would say. And then down here in the foot, you can see that the foot looks fantastic. Again, the nails are painted with what seems to be a black or the dark gray, and then dry brushed over with a brown, and then also glossed, so they again shine like real nails would. Just incredible paintwork all around. Again, super smooth transition when you move from the dark gray to the browns. And then as we move up here into the tail, the pretty much the same style of paintwork continues, but you can see again some more dry brushing techniques that have been added out here to highlight some areas of the skin texture, and you start to see a striping as you lead out closer to the end of the tail here. Again, really realistic coloration, I think, for a Tyrannosaur. The underside as well has some beautiful paintwork, but there's no dramatic difference in coloration between the upper side to the underside, aside from like really beautiful dry brushing they've applied. And again, that makes the detail pop beautifully, but also gives it some slight color variation, and I do like that because I feel like it wouldn't always have like a drastically different coloration down here compared to what we see up here and stuff. So it is nice to see something so similar, but with just a slightly altered coloration down there. Of course, the opposing side is going to look the same, but it just looks phenomenal, and it does not hurt even a little bit for us to take a look at it. And you can see again how smooth and realistic the paintwork is throughout the entire course of this figure. Very consistent, very nicely applied. There is no sloppiness that I can see anywhere on this figure paint-wise. Again, the nails look great over here. You can also see that the dew claw is, of course, painted, and everything just looks great, again, on both sides. A phenomenal-looking Nanmu Tyrannosaurus. And then, of course, the base itself looks really cool. We have taken a look at the base in the past, but as far as the coloration of this one goes, we basically have like a black with some very nice variations of gray kind of creeping through in certain areas. And then within all of the cracks, you can kind of see like variations of oranges, reds, and even yellows that give this a very cool kind of a lava-like look, which of course coincides with the Obsidian type name. But this continues as you lead down here into the side. Like, you can see it creeping through all of the different areas, the different cracks and crevices within the base, and it just looks so insanely cool, like really appealing to the eye, and I think is definitely going to set the overall tone for how beautiful the model looks on the base. A really cool base, very highly detailed. The underside, of course, gives us the Nanmu logo and tells us that it is the once and future King Tyrannosaurus, but again, a fantastic base for a fantastic Tyrannosaurus. And just like with the previous releases of the Tyrannosaurus, the Rex can stand absolutely perfectly without the base. There is no issues with it standing at all, but of course the base does help to create a really cool image for your Rex, and you can see that we have basically a hole here on the underside for the peg. You just slide it onto the peg, and look how smoothly that went on. And then the Rex is standing on its base, really completing the overall scene and looking super cool here, with the Tyrannosaurus walking along a ledge as the Rex would potentially, let's just open the mouth here, letting out a vocalization of some kind, letting everyone know that he is the king of the dinosaurs. As far as a size goes, we have again reviewed this numerous times, so we really don't need to measure it, but we will anyway, just because that's what we do. For a length on the Rex, you are looking at about the 17-inch mark, or about the 43, maybe approaching 43.5 centimeters. And this, of course, is up on the base. It's a little taller than it would be if it were, of course, standing on the ground. But for a height with it on the base, I think the highest point would actually be the back. So you're looking at about 7.5 inches, or around 19 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line in comparison to our Obsidian Nanmu Tyrannosaurus. And you can definitely see in comparison to these figures right here that the Rex has an extremely impressive size, like really draws you in due to not only its pure beauty, but also the extremely large size. I mean, it's not absolutely massive, but it definitely has a big size to it. Certainly big enough to turn heads and draw anyone in to this particular dinosaur in any dinosaur collection. A real head turner for sure. And hopefully in comparison to these figures right here, you'll be able to see that. So this Nanmu Obsidian, once and future King Tyrannosaurus Rex release, is just as gorgeous as all of the others. Again, this has been one of my favorite releases from Nanmu yet, and that's really saying something because Nanmu has always released incredible stuff. Ever since the very first figure I purchased from them, which was the Berserker Rex, I've been in love with them, and they just continue to somehow get better and better and better and one-up themselves all the time, which just is... It's just crazy to think that. Like, I don't know, looking at this Rex right now, I can't even begin to fathom how it could get any better than this. But Nanmu will figure it out. They'll find a way. They always do. And they have a lot of upcoming figures that are just going to blow my mind. So they have plenty of chances to, again, one-up themselves as far as this Rex release goes. But yet again, another incredible version of this Tyrannosaurus. This time, the Obsidian version sports, in my opinion, a very Walking with Dinosaurs type of a coloration to it, because again, it looks very reminiscent to the Rex from Walking with Dinosaurs as far as the tones and the red in the throat, the dark grays and stuff. It just really gives me the Walking with Dinosaurs feel, so it's certainly a very welcome addition to my collection just based off of the fact that it has a likeness to the Walking with Dinosaurs version. But sporting that gorgeous male Jurassic Park style Tyrannosaurus sculpt, of course, it instantly tugs at my heartstrings. I think I'm a bigger fan of the male Rex than I am of the female Rex from those films. Nanmu has done an incredible job on the sculpt, but of course the actual paintwork of this one is also beautifully done, looking very nice and natural throughout the course of the entire figure. Everything looks like body color, nothing on it even remotely looks like paint on a figure. Nanmu is easily the best company right now in my opinion. As far as paint applications go, I don't think anybody can touch them, and they're not inconsistent or anything like that, which is always really cool. Like for the longest time, people would have probably said Papo would have been the best because they always had really high quality figures with some pretty high quality paint apps, but over the years they have really dropped in quality, and Nanmu has still continued to just basically shoot for the stars as far as their quality goes. They get better and better with every release, so that's something that I really feel like Nanmu should be commended for, is just how much effort they put into their models, but just how far they take it to give you the best possible product. So this is yet another unbelievable release from Nanmu. If you are interested in this, I will include a link in the description to where you can head on over to Dan's Dinosaurs and purchase this for yourself. So make sure you check the link in the description, go buy this beautiful Tyrannosaurus Rex, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.